Hi, this is Jay P Morgan, and this is
Lars Lindstrom.
And we're here for Trends from the Trenches, or the show that was formerly called Trends from the Trenches, and we still haven't figured out the name yet.
I completely forgot we were doing that.
Exactly. Hey, it was the holidays, and we just completely forgot.
A lot going on.
But the names that are kind of on the top of my list are Deep Fried Focus.
No, we can't call it Deep Fried
No, we're not
Focus.
calling it
It was
Deep
so funny at the time, but it's not funny anymore.
My wife says, just call it Photo Trends.
Photo Trends.
Or Photo Video Trends. Going, that is so boring, but that's probably what we'll call it. No, I don't know.
That's true.
All right, well, anyway, it's a new year, 2015. So what's hot, what's not, and where are we going in the new year?
All right. I think we're, for a lot of things, we're gearing up for NAB, for video things. I mean, we've got CES just came out this week.
Just finished it. Yeah, it's in the midst of it right now.
Yeah, and so we've got a couple of new fun things that are kind of video related a little bit, like the new Nikon camera and maybe a new Sony Action Cam camera. I thought something was kind of cool. I mean, it's a little bit just ridiculous right now, and I'm sure out of everybody's price range, but that Samsung announced a new 110-inch 8K television. 8K, and it's got
like,
built
because we can.
and it's got built-in 3D. So you don't have to wear the sunglasses or the glasses.
You don't?
No.
Now,
So
I've
you
always
might as well
said
call them sunglasses.
if you can finally cross that road where it's not the glasses, it's built in, and everyone said at NAB 3 years ago, oh, they have that.
Yeah.
But they just got to sell all these ones with the glasses first.
No, I think what happened, because those they were thick. Because I remember them back in 2010, actually, NAB. And
the screen was thick?
the screen was thick because it had multi-layers going on, and so and you couldn't, if you were off axis, just a little bit, it was gone. So this one's newer technology, and they're claiming that no, you can go off axis a little bit, and it doesn't have to be super thick. So I don't know, 110 inches. I mean, you got to be like 30 feet away from this thing. It's like you got to have a living room, Like, can you imagine these in living rooms?
110 inches.
You turn them on and all the lights dim. And
you have to go into the next room to be able to see it.
you just put white on the screen and use it as a massive soft key light everywhere you go.
That's an expensive key light.
It's an expensive key light. It'd be fun though.
So 8K, there you have it. Well, on that line, everyone's saying that Vimeo has kind of quietly started their 4K streaming. Yep.
Really?
They have.
Why quietly?
I don't know. They didn't make an official announcement or anything. They just, if you go on Vimeo, and this is exactly what they're saying, that you can go on there and you can start streaming 4K. But they didn't make an announcement about it. They didn't really make it into but they're already heading that direction.
Well, already. I mean, YouTube's been doing it for over a year.
I know. Vimeo finally caught up, but
that's good. That's great, actually.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah.
I mean, really, as far as a platform, Vimeo is just such a great platform.
It's so much cleaner. It's just, and like the suggested videos that pop up.
Yeah.
It's just like you don't get that, and
yeah.
Or if you do, it's just not ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's great.
So, anyways, 4K. But we talked about 4K for several years now, and it's not catching on
quite like I thought
not
it
as
would.
fast as we thought it would. Not as
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't know. I've always said it's like nailing fins onto a 50s car. Fins got bigger and bigger and bigger. And why did they do it? Because they just could. 8K. How about 16K?
I know.
It's 32K.
But I saw 8K again back in 2010. At NAB. It was like one of those, like, you go into the theater and it's 22.2 surround sound plus 8K. I mean, it was really cool, but it just hasn't really caught on.
I don't know. The whole 4K, 8K, it's just so counterintuitive to me because in cinema, it's that softer kind of.
Well, I mean, you can achieve a soft look, and still have detail. But I agree. It's just like.
Okay, really? You can achieve a soft look and still have detail.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Just throw a little soft filter in there, or get some vintage lenses.
You put a soft filter in there, and now it's 2K. Oh, why don't we just shoot 2K?
That's true, though. That's true.
You're probably right. It is a different look, but
that's funny. All right, what else we got going on?
Yeah. Nikon's new camera, the D5200.
I'm so excited about this camera.
I'm lining up.
They're a little late to the game.
Kind of late to the game, and kind of not much there.
I feel bad a little bit for Nikon. I mean,
I do because I shot a Nikon at the beginning of my career. That's the only still camera I ever had.
Yeah. So what do they got new in this camera? A touchscreen?
I think that's about it.
Touchscreen. They got a touchscreen. And
that really it?
That's I mean, it seemed like it when I mean, there's other things, of course, but like when I saw that, I was like, oh, like what's new? And I read a touchscreen. I kind of went, that's right. They don't have a camera with a touchscreen.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So, but if we get a hold of one, 5500, the D5200, we'll try to do a little test on it and see what it looks like. Just give us some perspective. So that's kind of I don't know, my concern about the whole industry. When you have companies like Blackmagic putting the Canon mount on their cameras, you kind of know who's in charge of the industry at the moment.
That's true.
Although I think this is just JP Morgan talking, I think Sony's going to start to kick Canon in the butt just a little bit with the things that they're doing. I read some things on Sony. Mm-hmm. One of the first companies, and it's for their lower end cameras, but they're starting an app store. And so the camera the camera company has an app store. Now a lot of the apps though are not amazing, but think about it. Like the Sony A7S, for people tell me, I've not done it, and you may have for like $7. You told me
yes.
$7 you can get
intervalometer.
Intervalometer to do time lapse. So, I mean, why wouldn't there be an app store if you want to do this? But in some ways, it irritates me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's not already built in?
Put the $7 thing in there.
I know.
You're not going to sell me a camera and you're going to make me buy every little piece of software I'm going to put on it.
Nickel and dime.
Now it does become a computer.
Yeah.
This one, the button works. Everything else you're going to have to buy on the App Store.
Right. Yeah.
Also, I have a couple of things here I thought were interesting. 2 books I think are worthwhile. One is Lenny Kravitz. I asked Lars if he knew who Lenny Kravitz was.
I was embarrassed. I wasn't embarrassed. I was just going, yes, of course I know who Lenny Kravitz is.
Well, Lenny Kravitz was he's kind of an amateur, I don't know, maybe call him a professional photographer. He's been shooting pictures forever. So he finally a collection of his works, and it's called Lenny Kravitz. I think it's called Lenny Kravitz.
Is that it?
I think so.
That's such a Lenny Kravitz thing to do.
Of course it is.
It's my book. It's Lenny Kravitz.
It probably has no longer Lenny.
And it just sells itself.
And I didn't write it down. But that's interesting. It's interesting from the point of view as a photographer. You get to see it's kind of in a real way a documentary style book because it's his life in that world, in that industry.
Yeah.
So that's good. So that's a great book to check out if you're into that kind of that documentary style. I think a book that is extremely important if you're into posing in still photography and you really want to understand that better. Coco, Rocha.
Rocha.
It's called a Study of Pose. So it's 1,000 poses. It's an art book. Basically, they took a 360 dark background, and the camera just follows her in this 360 kind of around as she strikes different poses. She does 1,000 poses, and I mean they're not all perfect, but man, for 1,000 of them, they are pretty amazing.
Cool.
But just a great study. I mean, here's a woman who makes her living by how she poses.
That's amazing.
So there's 1,000 poses in this book. It's really worth looking at. It's like $45 on Amazon. I don't know if Sammy's has it. Does Sammy's have it? There's nobody back there.
Yeah, nobody cares.
You never get any help when you need it. I mean,
that's not true. We love them.
There's lots of help here. So anyway, I would check that book out. For $45, I think that came late in last year. It was like October that came out, but that's probably, in my mind, one of the more significant books of last year. So you might want to check that out.
Very cool.
Yep.
Sony Action Cam.
Sony Action Cam?
Just got announced,
yeah. Oh, that's right.
It's just funny, like, to me, I feel like Sony was just kind of like, oh, you mean people like GoPros? Well, we make something like it too, and like, they've pretty much consistently just like waited for like GoPro to announce something, and then they'll just like go, well, we have it too, and it's the exact same specs and same price.
Boy, it's so unlike what they're doing in the still and video market. They
exactly.
seem to be leading the...
They are. They're leading. They're like professional video market. I feel like with the FS7 and now the F55, so they figure that out. But the Action Cam market, I'm just going, does anybody buy the Sony stuff? So they've got the new one that just came out. It's $500, and it's got you can do 4K at 24 frames a second.
So same price frame then.
Yep, or it does the slow motion at 1080p, so you can do 240 frames a second. So it's like the exact same specs as
the new.
And I think the only difference was it has image stabilization built into the lens, which is cool. Mm-hmm. But on such a wide lens, and I don't know if I I would like to know if you get like micro vibrations from something like a car that you set it on, if that's just going to completely throw it off, or if it'll help a lot. I'd like to know.
Oh, that would be interesting if it would remove some of that, because that is a problem when you put them on.
Yeah, and the GoPro is just like,
yeah.
You know, every tiny little thing on a surfboard or a skateboard or, you know, like a car mount. So, I don't know.
Well, that would be interesting to see if that would work or not. But on a wide lens like that, image stabilization, it's either got to stabilize the camera. I mean, it's more like the Sony. It would be better to stabilize the frame.
Yeah, the actual sensor.
Yeah, the sensor. So
I don't know.
That would make sense. Okay, so over Christmas break, I did some pictures of my new granddaughter.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
When was she born?
She was born just around Thanksgiving time, but I got up to see her.
That's awesome.
She lives out of state. But I took the Baja, the B4. That's the strobe head.
The strobe head,
by
yeah.
Dynamite. You know what? I just was in love with just the ease of that process. I put it in. I don't have to worry about power. I throw it up. I shoot with it. I ran out and shot some stuff out in the Quakers. Quakers? I mean, it's not a group of religious people. You know, Quake and Aspen. There we go. But anyway,
okay, but so it's all inclusive.
It's on. Yeah,
battery power.
We reviewed it last month.
Oh, that's right.
It's the one that has the lithium battery.
That's awesome.
And it was really a great piece of equipment. I was very happy with it. For me, for that $600 price point, that thing works great.
Yeah,
it was
you can
really,
take it anywhere.
Yeah, I take it anywhere. So I really love that. So now, lenses, 2015. I mean, there's a lot of lenses coming out in 2015, but
two that I'm excited about.
Which ones are you excited about?
Well, for me, for video, I'm excited about the 28 to 135 that Sony's coming out with.
Uh-huh.
So you've got built-in image stabilization. It's an f4 maximum aperture, built-in servo. So if you've got like the FS7, which I think has, once you plug it in, you've got the technology and ability to do slow zooms from within the camera. So I mean, it seems like it's going to be an amazing lens.
That's an incredible lens.
Oh, the focal length alone, 28 to 135 with a constant aperture.
Yeah.
And a sharp lens at that, like I'm so excited about it. So
well, Kenneth here said you can declick it.
Yeah, so you can do your hard stops on the aperture, or you can declick it if you're doing video, so you can get that smooth kind of ramped aperture feeling. I mean, in my mind, for video purposes, it's going to be killer. It's going to be also killer expensive. It's about $2,500.
Yeah. Killer expensive though. $2,500 for that lens.
For the
compared to a Canon lens that you would like. What's a 2470 cost?
$2,200.
Aha.
$2,100.
So it's like, you can't call that expensive, really.
No, especially because this is like the all-in-one. That's even better than a 2470 because it's everything. It's
28
a full
to
frame.
135.
Yeah.
So why would I buy a 2470 for $1,000?
Because this is $2,500.
Because I'm not going to Costa Rica.
Yeah, exactly. And it weighs like 4.5 pounds.
Well, yeah, if you're in that compact. I just wish, I love my my Sony A7S, but I'm a still shooter, and so it's not a walk-around camera for me. So I really need to buy this 7A, which I think is a little too slow, but the 7.2, I guess. 7.2?
A7II.
A7II. The A7II, I need to buy that camera. If I want to walk around with that small lens, yeah, then I can actually shoot stuff I can use for stock. Because when I shoot, like, I'll shoot backgrounds, you know, clouds, skies, things, and we use them. We strip them into the images all the time. So,
right.
So it's like I can't afford. I used to not shoot on RAW. Now I shoot everything on RAW. I don't care what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Because then I just have it. Okay, last thing on here, the Tamron, the SP 15 to 30 millimeter lens, 2.8 lens that comes out this year.
It's great.
That really finishes their line of lenses. You got the 15 to 30, 2470, 7200. Perfect. So that's a great kind of companion set of lenses for Tamron, which really finishes up their line. So.
Is it a full frame lens?
Yep, it's an SP lens, so a full frame lens.
Awesome.
Excellent piece. That'll come out this year. So lots of things to look forward to. We got NAB coming up. That comes up here. Is it February?
No, it's April.
Is it all the way? Yeah, you're right.
First week
NAB coming up in April. We do have WPPI that comes up here, I think, in late February. And WPPI is a great place if you're into weddings and portraiture, and you want to kind of get a sense of what that world's doing. It's a great show to go to in Vegas. So.
I should probably go to that show.
It's
probably start going.
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. When is it again?
Oh, every year. February.
February what?
We should do our trends, I can't remember, late February?
Okay, perfect. Yeah. That'd be great.
Mid to late February.
Okay.
We're trying something different. We're going to split this into 4 segments. They'll come up once a week on our YouTube channel. So each one of these segments is going to have a different topic, but the entire show is going to be at theslantedlens.com. It will post up at the very beginning of the month. So if you want to see the entire show from beginning to the end, go to theslantedlens.com where you can see the entire show. But if you want to see them in segments, shorter segments, smaller bites, so you can watch them at your desk, go to our YouTube channel where we'll put them up one segment at a time.
Or if you're in your car and you want to listen to it on the road, you can download or subscribe to the podcast and get it that way. And I think it's called Trench from the Trenches from the Slanted Lens.
Trench from the Trenches.
Yep. So download the podcast. I love podcasts, man. That's how I get most of my information these days. So
very good.
do it. It's good. It's worth it.
So keep those cameras rolling.